British Motor Heritage are incredibly grateful to the BMW Swindon plant for their support in refurbishing our mini trunk lid outer drawer tool, which had suffered significant wear and damage after many years of use. In its worn state, each panel required extensive rework and straightening to meet our standards. Thanks to this refurbishment, we can continue supplying our Mini customers with high quality, authentic panels that remain true to the original specification, preserving the legacy of this iconic British classic car. We invited the man responsible for this incredible project, Ryan Edwards, to our premises at British Motor Heritage to thank him for his work and to show him around our factory and to hear about his journey. We are so impressed with his story, we decided to make this video. Over the course of 2 months, Ryan and his team worked tirelessly to restore our mini trunk lid drawer tool to bring it back to its original condition. The result, a vastly improved trunk lid panel. And here is how they did it. Before any work could take place, the tool required a thorough clean. Ryan referred to this as the clean-up surface. He said a few of the apprentices helped him with this process, scraping off years of oil until the original paint started to shine through. He said if there was anything hidden underneath, such as dirt or debris, they would find it. They had to use lifting tackle to lift out the insert where they found rust and dirt that had come from years of rain and grease that had seeped through the cracks. Ryan then went on to tell me about the next stage, the stoning process, where they used an abrasive stone called a panel stone. To improve surface quality, scrape away any imperfections and surface oils that have soaked in. He said BMW Swindon used the stones that are embedded with industrial grade diamond. After the stoning process, he went on to explain the next stage, a process called sweating. This is where they take the acetylene torch, focus on all the high and low spots they have found during the stoning process. The torch expands the metal, lifting it up, and whilst it is still hot, they rapidly stone the area before it sinks back down again. Ryan told me this was just for minor defects, but it still took a couple of days to do and was the hottest part of the job, with all the heat bouncing off the tool. In these photos, Ryan explained they used laser welding to target any hidden from the eye imperfections on the inner steel. He and his colleague, Richard Binden, were responsible for this. Unlike TIG welding, where you might have 0.8mm rods, laser welding uses hair-thin rods as small as 0.08mm and a microscope. This process is used to target spots that are so small they couldn't be perfected using the sweating. Ryan said this was the fun part of the job, as you could see where all the previous welding work had taken place, such as casting welding. After the laser welding, Ryan explained the inner steel was then given to his colleague, Rob Parmenter, who Ryan explained was absolute expert at stoning and polishing, and he spent 3 nights stoning the whole area out to an impeccable surface finish. Here you can see Ryan working on the upper tool, which is now the lower tool on support trestles, polishing it up using a light abrasive wheel to make sure there are no pinches or streaks. He explained that this would also eliminate any chance of splits happening. He then told me they needed to focus on the bottlenecks. He and the team cleaned up and sanded down the edges using a surface grinder. They wanted to get them as level as possible. Ryan explained he spent a couple of hours on the surface grinder, taking off 0.1mm at a time until he was happy they had a nice smooth surface finish. Once they had finished up with the bottlenecks, Ryan told me about the next focus, which was the wipers, nylon blocks. The nylon wipers allow the tool to run up and down and keep everything square. He explained that these were the only part of the tool that were unfortunately beyond repair. As you can see from the images, some of them are completely worn through. Impressively, Ryan managed to remanufacture completely new blocks using cut-offs he found in the factory, spending time to make sure they are exact dimensions of the originals. Another issue that has always existed on this panel is where the double fixing holes that secure the insert to the die created local raised areas on the panel that were difficult to rework. Ryan told me there were discussions about getting a 3D scanner to help with this issue, but to my amazement, he went on to tell me how he did this by himself. He measured up the holes where the bolts were, essentially made a jig for himself with a very long 8mm drill bit to drill a new hole into the bottom of the casting so he and his team could move the mounting location of the number plate steel. Here you can see Ryan starting the actual modification, making sure the jig fitted. The inserts have been put back and he's starting to drill into the casting, ready for tapping, relocating the dowel holes into the die. After finishing the nylon blocks, Ryan explained it was then ready for the fit and finish assembly and trial. He explained how they needed to put the tool on support trestles while they polished up the opposing surfaces and made sure the wipers were actually engaging and that they were not too tight. Thankfully, the trial went very well. They got their measurements pretty much correct first time and were all very pleased. They also had to fit and finish for the internal wipers. Fortunately, He said these ones didn't need remanufacture as they were in reasonably good condition, so he just skimmed them over with a milling machine and then put a bit of shim packer behind them to bring them back to size. With all the hard work complete, Ryan told me the tool was finally ready for testing. These panels can only be pressed using original machines at Taylor's press form, so I wasn't expecting to see actual photos of a successfully pressed panel. But just when I thought I couldn't be any more impressed, Ryan explained his ingenious workaround. In place of the original double action press, he used BMW's Komatsu press machine, which features an air condition at the base, and by carefully positioning pins, he was able to replicate the original pressing process with remarkable precision. And these were the results of his first full draw panel, absolute perfection. So, with the tool finally finished, we were able to collect it and take it back to Taylor's press form, its home in Leamington Spa.